السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. صدق الله العلي العظيم. So today we continue with the next in our series. We are doing Sura At-Tin, or also known as Wat-Tini wa Zaytun. This surah was revealed as a complete entity. In other words, all the 8 ayat were revealed at one time. It also starts off as an oath, because it starts off with the letter wa, and then At-Tin wa Zaytun wa Turi Sinin wa Hadha al-Balad al-Amin wa Hadha al-Balad al-Amin. So the wa in front, as explained previously, is a particle to introduce an oath. So Allah is swearing an oath by and then Tin is the fig, and Zaytun is the olive. And in the next ayah, wa Turi Sinin, meaning the Mount of Sinai. So both Sinin and Sina are mentioned in the Quran. And the third oath is wa Hadha al-Balad al-Amin, and this noble or secure town. Amin means secure or protected, and balad is an area or a town. So Allah swears by essentially 4 things. The first ayah swears by 2 fruits, right? The tin and the zaytun. And then the second swearing is an oath by a place, which is the Mount Sinai area, where Musa alayhi salam climbed up and received the Torah as the revelation or the commandments of Allah on the mountain. And the third ayah is wa hadha al-balad al-amin, meaning and this secure town or this secure city, which is a reference to Makkah. And we know from Surah Lila fi Quraysh that Allah protected the city to such an extent that not only did He give peace and security, but He also gave them food, which was quite rare for the heart of the desert to receive food and nourishment and, in other words, sustain life through food, water, as well as the fact that there was security in that particular town. So, the surah's title is from the first word, Wat-Tin, by the fig. And it also can be a reference to the fig tree per se. Right? So the surah questions how man can deny the judgment, and emphasizes the importance of doing good, of having faith first of all, and doing the good deeds that follow having the good faith. So if you look at the more detailed commentary on this particular surah, the first 3 ayahs are about 3 of the great prophets. The first one, the Tin and Zaytun, a reference to Isa alayhi salam, because he lived in the place of Olives, which is Mount Olives near Masjid al-Quds, or in Jerusalem, and Bethlehem is also very close by. So Wat-Tin and Zaytun are reference in particular to Isa alayhi salam, and the fact that one divine revelation, the Injil, came to Isa alayhi salam while he was in that locality of the figs and the olives. And by extension, the fig is also, if you look at the area of Hamadan, which is in southern Iraq, that place is known for its fig plantations and its fig groves. And we also know Hamadan is the place, Mount Judi is located there, where Nuh alayhi salam, in the time of the flood, after the flood had subsided, his boat actually came and took anchor at a place called Mount Judi, at the base of that particular mountain in that Hamadan province of Iraq. So, in essence, it refers to basically all the main prophets that lived in that area of Sham and southern Iraq, southern Turkey. So, in that locality as well as in the Arabian Peninsula, these oaths are taken of fig, olive, Mount Sinai, as well as Makkah as the city where the Prophet ﷺ was born and preached and lived his life. So after having taken these 3 oaths, we realize that Allah sort of has blessed that whole area in a generic sort of sense, it's called the Holy Lands because there were prophets and messages that were revealed and preached, and many people converted as a result of this particular impact of all the different prophets on that particular area. This is just a picture or the map of the area. It shows you Mount Judi in Turkey with the Valley of Hamdan in southern Iraq, where the figs are more sort of common. Then you look at the olive, and an olive tree can live for many hundreds of years. In fact, this picture that's on the screen at the moment is to do with one such olive tree that's growing for over 2,000 years on the Mount of Olives in Jerusalem. And then we have the Mount Sinai, the area where north of Egypt, just south of Gaza, where Musa alayhi salam went up that mountain. He saw a burning fire on the top, and he decided to go pursue it. And that's where the only prophet that had was actually spoken to directly on that particular mountain was Musa alayhi salam, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had that personal conversation, and then he was given that message of going to preach to Pharaoh and to preach to the people of Israel, the Banu Israel, and we know that history is of Musa alayhi salam. Then we have the Makkah itself. We know the Balad al-Amin is the reference to Makkah. And obviously later in his life, Medina became the city and the capital of Islam. And from there, Islam spread to all the four corners of the globe. So Allah swears by these 3 or 4 places in no uncertain terms to say this is the origin of many of the divinely revealed faiths. And this is another map that just shows it in another sort of perspective. We also know that the Prophet ﷺ was known by 2 nicknames, Al-Amin and As-Siddiq, the trustworthy and somebody who's absolutely honest. Now, it's quite significant that a man with that nickname of Al-Amin, the city is also called Al-Balad al-Amin, almost like it's his city of, the most secure town in the area was because of his presence in the town as well. Now, if you look at a secular person who doesn't obey God, who perhaps is an atheist, he will just go anyway, which is he just obeys his lusts and emotions. And if he does that, what happens is he becomes from the ahsan taqweem, the best of creation, to the asfal safilin, the lowest of the low, the lowest of the creation. So Allah makes it such that in these 2 ayahs, he's talking of لَقَدْ خَلَقْنَا الْإِنسَانَ فِي أَحْسَنِ تَقْوِيمٍ. That man's nature, his fatra, is to do with the fact that he has created man in the best of molds, the best of shapes and forms, and someone who can aspire to the best of character and nobility as well in his dealings and in his life. But having said that, that's the aspirational part, that you can become the best, higher than the animals and the best of creation. But you find in reality, ثُمَّ رَدَدْنَاهُ, in some cases we have relegated him to the asfal safilin, the lowest of the low. In other words, even below the level of an animal, because if somebody just lives according to his lusts, where it's only about hunger and sex, he will crave and do whatever he has to do in order to satisfy those lusts without having a higher being present in his life to guide him otherwise. So if you just obey your lusts and you deny the existence of having a soul and denying the day of judgment, then obviously you are a godless person. So whether you're an atheist or the mushrik or polytheist or the kafir or whatever, it gives you no status in life. You are the asfali safilin. Whereas if you do what is required, have the iman and the faith, then you can raise your status to become the ahsin taqweem. So reckless deeds do make us become unacceptable. Does reduce our status, and we become the low and wretched people of the earth, the sifla, where we're just guided by fear, hunger, and other base desires and needs. So if we lack iman on the inside, in our hearts and minds, then obviously the manifestation of iman is the effect that there'll be a lack of good deeds as well on the outside. In other words, you will not be doing as many good deeds as your potential as a human being is to do them. And this concept is of, the Iman and Amilus Salihat is explained not only in this Surah Wat-Teen, but in the later Surah Wal-Asr. Also it comes out very, very clearly that those are the 2 or 3 or 4 things that we need to have in our lives. The Iman, the Amilus Salihat, as well as the encouraging of others to do good and encouraging others to have patience, which is the essence of Surah Wal-Asr, is also referred to in this surah, in this one line, Ayah 6, إِلَّا الَّذِينَ آمَنُوا, to have Iman, وَعَمِلُوا الصَّالِحَاتِ, and the amal of Salihat, good deeds, فَلَهُمْ أَجْرٌ غَيْرُ مَمْنُونَ, and for them, those that have Iman and who do good deeds, there is an ajrun غَيْرُ مَمْنُونَ, an everlasting reward, a reward that you can never imagine, and truly a remarkable outcome for your life and for your desire to enter Jannah. So this is the best reward for people that have faith. Then as for the one who denies the retribution, in other words, those who deny the day of judgment or the day of accounting, which is the theme in Arayta Alladhi as well, that Arayta Alladhi yukadhibu bid-din. So here we have فَمَا يُكَذِّبُكَ بَعْدُ bid-din. So what makes you deny that retribution or that day of accountability in the religion that you believe in? And it's going to take a toll on you in the year after, where if you don't have the Iman and the Amal Salihat, you will have a fate that won't have everlasting reward. And also the last ayah says, أَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِأَحْكَمِ الْحَاكِمِينَ. So it's another phrase there that says that isn't Allah the best of judges or the wisest of judges or the most fair of all that can judge people and their actions and their life's deeds. So the only exception to people from attaining the path of salvation is the fact that you must have Iman and you must have good deeds. And if you have the two, that will ensure that you have attained the ultimate recipe of success. That is, you are good on the inside and good on the outside with the deeds that you do to humanity and for the betterment and upliftment of society at large. Okay, we end at that point with Wal-Asr. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Wal-Asr, inna al-insana lafi khusr, illa alladhina amanu wa amilu s-salihat, wa tawasaw bil-haqq, wa tawasaw bis-sabr.